uh yeah, so hi guys, so we just had completed like the case movement. Now what we want to do is we want to perform this left click and right click and this hold and drag. So I'll just mark this done. And okay, now we want to fix gestures for left click. So you can pick anything you want, like whatever you are comfortable with, and whatever you think you can implement, that is fine. So for left click I will do this: if all the fingers are closed except for thumb and index, and if they touch together like this, then I say that this is a left click. And for a right click, if everything is closed except my index and my middle finger, and if they touch, then this is a right click. And for hold and drag, if my fingers are up, then I'm like holding a mouse and dragging it like this, like anywhere I want. So I am moving mouse by holding a left or right, left button. So this is hold and drag, this is left click, and this would be right click. So yeah, let me write here: index and thumb, open, other, close. So this would give status as, you know okay, just let's just write in the code. You got the idea. And yeah, so here, to perform a left click, what we want is status equals to, this should be open, the index also should be open, and the other things, this 3 would be close. Copy this. Okay, I have one extra. Okay, yeah. So if this is the case, we will just simply click. But apart from the status, you also want if it is touching. So how do we define touching? uh, we can simply look for what value it gives, and see what is happening. So let's just have a separate function called def is touching. This takes 2 points, let's just say p1 and p2, and it returns true or false. Okay, so how it would do that? Like, it definitely would return a calculated distance. So to calculate the distance between 2 points, you can use that formula, under root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So to do that, you can simply do math. So I would need to import the math library, I guess. Import math, and here return math dot square root of, you want addition of this p2's x. So p2 0 minus p1's x, you know so under root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So this plus square of this thing, what is this, p1, not p1, p2y minus p2, sorry, p1y square of this. I think there's an extra bracket. So this is the distance, and if this distance is less than certain value, let's just call it 100, then we say that it is true. And if it is not less than 100, if this value, like the distance between these two, is not less than 100, like it is something, let's say 500 or 130 or whatever this distance is, then we say it is not touching. So it's just a random value I put up here, but we want to see what value we should put. So to do that, we can simply check like how much is the distance between them. We can simply do this. Let's just call this as variable dist. I will cut it, and dist equals to this. and return this that. So I will print whatever the distance I am getting. Let me make sure if the formula is correct. Math dot square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square, and that's square root of that whole, so it seems correct. And yeah, so okay, so this thing, and we want to check and if it is touching. This takes, you know, thumb and index. So as soon as I call this value should get printed. But you know, if this value is not satisfied, this won't enter in this condition. So to click, perform a left click, we can simply do pi auto GUI dot click and button equals to left. Let's just see if it is working and what value should we put. So yeah, got code running, it moves, and if I do this, I am getting, you know, 108, 109. So the 100 wasn't the right value, I would say. Okay, let me just keep it here. And okay, so as soon as it would go below 100, the left click would perform. That's why my, you know, frame got disappeared like this. You seen that? So 100 is not very ideal value because it wasn't touching at the time. So you know, since we are just checking, let's just say if the distance is less than 0, so it will never happen. Like, we just want to see which value is very idle. And yeah, let's run the code again. And yeah, you can see if I do this, both the conditions are open and it is printing a value. And if I touch this, so I'm getting somewhere around 15, 16, 17, like that. So you know, this value would completely depend on the resolution of your camera. I have another machine where the camera resolution is much higher than this, and you know, I had to put 100 over there. So it definitely depends on your camera resolution. So you know, you should check it what value set suits you the best. And ideal way to do this would be like, without having, you know, some setting some constant value, you can do something like set a reference and you know, divide that reference by say 10. So you know, the reference can be anything. For me, I could say this thing, like distance from here to here. I can set this as a reference and I would divide this reference by 10. Like, let's just say something like this. So I would divide this reference by 10, and if the distance is less than reference by 10, then I'm saying it is touching. So it is very ideal to do something like this, like to calculate or to set something as a reference and then do the, you know, if it is touching or not. But again, that would be quite not lengthy, but that would also be not correct, because you know, your hand might be smaller than me or might be bigger than me. So again, that might not work for everyone. So I feel it's, you know, you should check it out which value works for you and set that in a distance formula. So currently I'm seeing that when I'm touching, it is going 18, 19. It also might go above, you know, 20. So I would say 30 is the best thing. Like, when I do this, it is not touching. uh, okay, so when I do this, it is above 30, 28. So I think I should go around 25. To 25 would be very ideal value to, you know, perform this. Even 20 can be good value, but let's just go with 25 and see if it works. So let's just say if distance is less than 25, then 25, then we say that it is touching. And if the distance is less than 25, that means it is like this condition satisfies and this condition also satisfies. So if it is touching, we simply click the left button. So let's take a look at it if it works. Where is it? Yeah. So currently that is not open, so we are only, you know, in a moving mode. It is open, so it is printing, and as soon as I do this, it works. I will move my and over here do this, that also works. So yeah, it is, I guess, working quite properly. Again, this is very, subjective thing, like which value suits you the best. But for me, left is, having no issues. So I will, sorry, 25 is having no issues. So I will stick around with this value. Now, again, for the right click, you got the idea what we want to do. Uh, I will simply do this and take a look if you can figure out what had just happened. So I want this close and I want this open. And instead of thumb and index, I would say middle and index. And here, instead of left, I would say right. So let's just see if it works. Okay, let me just, and I do this. So yeah, that's right click there. Okay, I think so, there's your left and right click. It is working properly, and you can, set the value which suits your best. For me, this are just fine. So yeah, anyways, I would disable this logging, that whatever the thing we are printing. And yeah, as I said, that reference thing, that is that thing that would seem like a challenge to do, but if you are interested, you should do it. It would be more appropriate way than setting some constant value as a parameter, as deciding factor for touching, if it is touching or not. So yeah, that's your left and right. Now what we want to perform is the last one, hold and drag. Okay, so let's just let me just mark this thing as done, and the only thing we want to do is hold and drag thing. So hold and drag, essentially try it on your a laptop or computer, whatever you're using. You have to hold a left button and you have to move. So that is your hold and drag, right? You have to hold mouse and then you have to move. So for hold and drag, there is a function in PyAutoGUI. You can check the documentation. You scroll down, that's move to and drag to, and click. Okay, double click, mouse down, mouse up. Okay, so this thing, when I say hold, can I do something like I perform this function mouse down, so it presses, I perform mouse down button left, and it should press button left, and after this I do case movement. After doing mouse down, I perform case movement. So I am holding the button and I am dragging the mouse, so that simplifies your hold and drag. So let's just do that. So here what we want to do, and what we have decided for hold and drag is this case, right? Like if your three fingers are up, then that's your hold and drag case. There is no is touching case. So if, let's just say this thing, instead of this we want, okay, not this, sorry, open, open and open. So your index is open, middle is open, and your ring is open. These three fingers are open. So if this, then you have to do hold and drag. So let's just do this PyAutoGUI dot mouse down, and let's just put button as left, and once you've done that, that's it. Then you have to case movement, and again you would pass index, pass image width, pass image height. Now you may say that instead of passing this for a movement, can we not would it not be more suitable to pass this, being this one being the center? Well, you see, like for normal movement, our whole thing is controlled by this finger, And if I do this, after doing this, if I do this, this jumps from here to here. So it is not convenient. Like if I wanted to drag some window, I would have my cursor over there, and as soon as I do this, this would shift the cursor from window to directly to close the window button, or maximize or minimize button. So you don't want that. You want your cursors to stay on the same position as your index was. So for that reason I will be using this. So let's just say if it works, and I will run the code again. Hopefully it does. So yeah, you can see it is working. Let me just go to the top, and it is at that window. If I open up my other two fingers, so you can see it has gone in hold and drag mode. But now the issue is, even if I do this, it still is in hold and drag mode. You don't want that. You don't want this to happen, right? You want this button to be up. So how to do that? Well, for that we would want to what would say, set a flag, like for a safe check. So instead of doing this all the time, we only say, if let's just have a flag over here, you will understand. Flag equals to false by default, and as soon as we go into some other condition, whether it is this or this, or right click, we will check if the flag is set, that is if flag, then we want that button to pull up. So for that, py dot mouse, instead of mouse down I would say mouse up, and button left. So this would negate that mouse down and would reset it to and this would reset, and we should reset the flag to false. Similarly, this should be copied in other two conditions, that is this left click and this one right click. Right click. So you got that. Now here the condition might be something different. So what we want to do here, if flag is not set, so if not flag, then we want to perform mouse down, and we want to set the flag as true, and that's it. So once you get in here, you will set the flag as true, and you will start moving your mouse, and as soon as you get out of this condition, you would reset the flag, and you would pull the mouse button up. So it should work properly now. So yeah, okay, there's some issue, I guess. Flag, it says, where is this? If flag local variable flag, okay, we should have done global flag here, but yeah, global flag, and yeah, they should work fine. Okay, so as you can see, I have moved my cursor to top. I do this, I can hold and drag, and as soon as I get out of this condition, like as soon as I do this, it resets. So I am able to move and drag when I want to. So instead of directly doing it all the time. Let me just maximize this thing. And yeah, so that's about it. That's your hold and drag, and other things as well, like you can perform left click, sorry, that was right click, and you can perform left click. Then you can move your mouse just by using your fingers, like this is hold and drag, so you can do that. And yeah, that's the whole mouse functions. I mean, that's not it. You can also do scrolling and all the other things. You can take it as a challenge and try for scrolling, and you can do something like with z parameter, that if the relative position of your index is closer to camera than of this, then you scroll down, and if it is up, then if it is farther, then you scroll up. You can do something like that. And for scrolling, there is a function in PyAutoGui. You should explore the documentation. And one thing I wanted to tell you guys is that this hold and drag works quite properly in Windows, but in Mac OS, like when you do this, it does get into mouse down button. But if you do this, like I have pulled my cursor on the window and I drag, you won't see any change until you get out of that condition. So once you do this, you pull your window, you won't see anything happening, your cursor would be moving. And once you get do this, you would just directly see that your window has shifted from there to there. Unlike here in Windows, you see that it is moving. So I don't know what's the issue there, but yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to tell you. And in Windows, it does work quite properly. So you can tweak around with the other parameters, like whatever we did. Like you can play around with this distance value, or for save check of this, like when I do this by moving and it is on a same plane, so that might cause issue in moving your mouse. So you can check around. And again, if I you know run the code again, mm, you see that it is quite small. This window is quite small, so you might have to move back. But one thing you can do is you can just increase the size of frame. And will that affect on your interpolation? It won't, because you should increase it after everything is done. Like just before showing, you can do something like cv2 dot resize, and you should pass your frame, and you should resize it to some more convenient picture. I would say 400. Okay, it's xy, so I would say 800 comma 400, and let's just say this works. It's still the same. I guess we have to assign it here. Frame. Yeah, so you see this is like more in sync with my display size, so it is more convenient than it was with a square thing. This rectangle is more more likely shape of my of anyone's screen, so you can do that. And the interpolation won't change, because the values you have passed are processed before the resizing, so this shouldn't change anything. So yeah, this was the thing I wanted to mention. And in addition, you can also do some touching, like here you see, once we done that, you can indicate that it is in this case. So you can simply do cv2 dot draw on that frame particularly. So I think you should be able to pass it like frame, and once you pass this frame, let's just modify it here as well, frame. And here what I will do is cv2 dot circle on frame, and center would be index, and this takes integer value, so let me convert it to int index 0 comma int index 1. And okay, has it? Oh, yeah, I don't get it. What, something's wrong here, I guess. Yeah, so this should be here, and 0 and 1. And the color, so the color, let's just say we put red, so this B, G and R. I think we messed somewhere here. I guess this should be in square bracket. that's the center, and after that we get the radius. So let's just say radius is 2. Okay, so now this should work fine. Now take a look at my index. um, there's a little red dot. I'm not sure if you're able to see it. I will change the either change the color, or let me change the color. Let's make it white and increase the thickness, sorry, increase the radius to 3, and let me just fill this by saying -1. Thickness is -1, it will fill the whole circle. So yeah, okay, so you can see the white dot on my index, and if I do this it disappears. So it is a little touching, which indicates in what mode it is. You can also draw on frame, like you can have a text written in a frame like it is in a movement mode or something like that. So you can do a whole lot of things. So similarly, let's just do this for thumb and index. That was for that, index and thumb. And again, we can do this here for index and middle. For right click, and here we should do for 3 points, that is index, middle, and one more point would be ring finger. So yeah, index, middle, and ring. So yeah, this works, this also works, and then what else, this also works. Now you might not be able to see it. Let me just yeah, okay, it has lagged for some reasons. Yeah, now if I do this and hold and drag, you should be able to see it. So yeah, these are all the 3 modes, and all the 4 functions we have covered. So yeah guys, that was the whole video. I think this video has been really helpful for you and you learned something out of it. And I also wanted to say that this was my very first video, and I would welcome any feedbacks if you have. And if you have any doubts, you can just mention them in your in comments below with the timestamp. If you didn't understand anything or anything else you want to ask me about, you can just comment about it, right? And yeah, so long guys, thanks.